The NAB AFLW National Development Championships is brought to you by NAB, More Than Money, and Front Row Screens, your local streaming superheroes.
Welcome to New Choice Homes Park here at East Fremantle Shark Park. It's the National Development Championship brought to you by NAB and Front Row Screens. And we've got 16s black and 16s gold today in an intra-state competition. Sitting here with Bo McDonald to give his expert opinion on both the players' development and their skill sets themselves, and obviously to try and pick the 18s next year. Bo, welcome to New Choice Homes Park, the NAB National Development Championship.
Yeah, thanks, Clint. It's great to be here today. Yeah, certainly really keen to see the girls get out there and strut their stuff. Been watching them train for the past month or so, so I'm sure they'll also be keen to get out there and show their skills.
What are we likely to see today from this group?
Yeah, look, I think we'll see we haven't really been concentrating on too much structure with the young girls. We want them to go out there and show us what they can do. So I'd say the main instructions in both camps was get out there and show your abilities, take some risk. You know, what does that mean? You know, with the new Markham rule standing there, you know, if you can run around. If you can sit on someone's back, sit on someone's back. Use your teammates, stay involved. We look for those sort of things. So it's really just an exhibition for them to get out there and show us what they can do.
Talk us through the coaching team for the gold side.
For the gold side? Yeah, so for the gold side we've got I haven't got it in front of me, mate. Jason Bloom. He's he's at the black side. He's been around for a couple of years working in our state 16s and with our state 18s program. And then on the gold side we've got I think Troy Fish this year.
He's Sippy Fish is down. Yeah. Partly cloudy today, temperature 24 top. We're looking for 26 degrees, so much nicer than the last couple of days here in Perth. If you're tuning in from the east coast or elsewhere in Australia, it's been a very, very hot week. Players have been prepared in sauna-like temperatures. Just about like this commentary box is pretty sauna-like at the moment, and we've had some young people come in and draw on the window in front of us too. So some call off the screen today, unfortunately. But weather today good for footy. Just playing before the peak of the heat.
Certainly is. It would have been a tough day yesterday.
Yes,
having a run.
Before 39 degrees yesterday.
Yep.
Would have seen some different exhibitions, although I imagine we would have played it at night here at Shark Park last night. So a great day. The first of these games we played a number of years ago was played in torrential rain, Fremantle versus the Eagles, as we initiated this 16s program. But today, good conditions at a good time. No dew, so fast and hard surface here at Shark Park. I got told to come to Shark Park. I didn't think it'd be here. I thought this was all being refurbished.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it gets knocked down. Probably be a good pre-season activity for the Sharks.
I thought I was going to
knock your old building down.
I thought I was going to set up by Kate Hartwell to turn up to a place that had been removed. How much training are the Sharks doing here at the moment?
Yeah, well, I know the women's club are training here, so I been out to a couple of sessions and had a look. They look like they're going to have a good season.
And the Colts, yeah, they do. Under Matt Templeton, coached the State 18s program a number of years ago, coached Harvey, Brunswick, Leshnot and Pinjarra too. Across his time, has been looking at East Fremantle and had previously worked with the Peel Women's Club when they were the Peel Thunderbirds. Southwest program in the pink, just getting into position now. The umpires, resplendent. The Super just about as fit as you can get at this time of the year too, the umps. Just finishing their pre-season and no injuries yet. So should be looking for some terrific play on. A couple of adjustments being made to the field. Gold have gone with the old strategy of starting with 19. See Rosie Anderson from South Fremantle just come and take her place on the bench. I agree with her. We should see her starting on. So she's just made that statement to her coach nice and early. In the centre of the ground now, as the umpires just continue to make sure we've got the right amount of players on the ground. Of course, it's not 19 on, it's 17 on when you play one extra. And this little changeover too. We've got Ava Jean Rowley running down to the other end of the ground, and then we're just removing another player from the ground. So girls that haven't quite looked at the board, a bit of nerves around. Just before we go, that is Cruz. Got here just in time to warm up for the match, then decided to inject herself straight into the game. So 18 on for gold. Black started with 16, and we're away in the centre of the ground. Nice tap, gold clear win off the Blacks' hands, and try to mount an exit now. First foray forward. Good to see her bounce this early in the game, although she's been wrapped up, and the umpire will hand the first free kick of the game. Interestingly, on my team lists, don't have any 22 listed. It's a nice little kick. Just tries to transfer the ball through the ground. Going into the corridor and leaving. Gives a chance to the backs of goal. Trying to break away. Loopy handball going nowhere. A second chance to kick this one off the ground. It's Freeman. Wrapped up in a strong tackle there. Rowley. Bit of messy ball as we go across the half-back line now for Black, who then put the ball in off the boot of Wally. Goes nowhere. Rowley's got a second chance. Been busy early. A clean possession. Backfilling now. A little handball. Must have sensed the voice. Sensed the presence, because there didn't seem to be a voice. Wrapping from half-back. Bo, you'd be happy with this one. We've cleared the defensive corridor. We've cleared the 50, but then kicked it straight out of the corridor into the hands of the running Crane. It goes long and deep. No mark taken. Crumbs on the ground. Socket off the ground. Looks like the first goal of the day. Let little work in the end. A decent recovery. Long ball in.
Yeah, look, I think it was a bit of an opportunistic goal. I think what we're seeing at the moment with the young ones is it'll be pretty crowded early till they figure out where they are on the ground, I suppose. Everyone seems to just be following the ball, so we'll probably see a few goals like that today, and as the game progresses, it'll start to open up.
So Black strike first. Off the boot of the tall forward in Anderson, Claremont product. Clever to go off the ground, not always allowed to, hasn't always been allowed to do that. She was smart enough to know that picking that up, she probably would have been tackled. Back into the centre. Rucks will go again. Seems to be a decent weight to get the ball in the air from the umps, just enjoying the camera time. Clean tap down. It was Newson in the favour of the goal team again. First use. Diving on the ball at half forward. Handball too slick to the teammate there in Pollard. Black's in the corridor again. Inside, outside's okay. Looking for half forward with a bit of space, but leading back there with dash is fantastic from the goal defenders. That's Blizzard. Blizzard hits a chest in the middle. Can't quite capture that one. Pollard in the hands of Rowley. Little fumble. Picked up off the ground by Hadley. Back into the corridor again. Through for two. And the long high kick to Anderson was pretty handy. Just couldn't quite get there in the end. Steisler defending hard on the last line. Had to stand her ground. Little handball doesn't connect. It's going back in. Back into the deep forward, although it rebounds now towards the top of 50. Messi at the top. Coming through there's Norbury. Norbury's little kick was a good one. It's in the hands. Black forwards again. Far side of the ground. Some vandalism overnight on the screen, so the window's really hard to see. Nice little tight close-up will help. Hard to know the distance in some of the 16s championship players' legs. It's a nice long ball, but waiting at the back cleverly and taking a good chest mark.
It's an interesting kick, that one. I think you made the point. You've got to know your distance. You don't want to kick it just to the line where the opposition can just knock it through and get another kick out. Probably better off going and looking for a short target leading at you.
It's Steisler again. She's been hand defence, and the kick's a neat one. It's quarter in centre of the ground. It's goal try to build again. Little kick forward from Newson. It's been handy. She finds right, returns inside and goes. Kick to the top of 50's okay. Sitting at the back there is a goal player. Gets that on the chest, and that's Crane. Crane looks for a runner. Finds it in right. Right goes a bit deeper. A little wide as well. Brings a chance in for the Black defenders for the first time through Norris to rebound this ball. It's in the hands of Norbury. Into the middle. Neat little kick finds Costans. Costans looks for the middle of the ground. And this is neat ball movement. Unfortunately, a little drop chest mark there by Rowley. So the goal get a chance to pressure the midfield here and see if we can't go back in. Just for something different too, Bo. Some COVID interruptions prior to this game as Kate Newson just tries to pop this ball out. Rosie Anderson trying to extract it. First little sight of her I've seen for a few years. Exciting young player. Setting up stall at centre half forward. A little fumble, unfortunately. There's a number of players changing in and out of this team this morning. Close contacts.
Yeah, it's certainly something we have to deal with now. But
there's been 9 changes to gold and 6 changes to black overnight as text messages came into different players just to let them know that there'd been a close contact and it was time to go home. This is a wonderful intercepting mark by Diodaro from Swan Districts, and she finds Aubergine Rowley. A bit hot for her, can't quite get it in front of her face, lands with Teakle. Back in the hands of Diodaro again. Neat little attempt to connect in the middle of the ground. Was to find Wally, who's been lively early. She's pretty keen to wrap someone up. The Golds have been good with the back feed and the exits, just haven't got enough representation in the middle of the ground so far. Pushing this ball forward, the black team's defence through Costons. In the hands again of Gold through right. To centre half forward again, not really troubling the inside 50s too much at this stage. Looks like it's going to go in now. It's just through Stanners. Stanners does get an inside 50 wide again. Leading in the foot race out there is Cristodero. Cristodero's kick's okay. Looking for a forward. It's going back nicely and taking a safe chest mark there. Black defences look settled, Bo.
They certainly are, and they just keep working to the pocket. The Gold side probably needs to come a bit more central.
Yeah, just attack that corridor a bit more. This is a bit of run and stun here, or a bit of hustle and bustle from the Gold forwards. And the number 15 jumper is Gerbrel. I think she's a late in, according to the COVID protocols. See the umpire paying. Was that a hold on the ball decision in the middle of the ground? It's going to Caristidaro. New Swan this year. Played in this game last year, despite not being old enough to play in Rogers Cup. It's great to see her having a run around as her team moves the ball to the outside of Shark Park and out of bounds. It'll be Blizzard to kick this ball in. Blizzard looks likely. A little step inside, trying to find her right foot. Set up beautifully behind the ball. Again, is Norbury. She can't quite reel that in. Comes over the line with a ball.
Yes, it's such a big ground here at Shark Park, and you know, sitting from where we are, this whole side is completely open. So we'll be looking for some players to really get out that way and use their speed.
Just sitting with the boss of Talent Footy 2, Scott Baker, and if we're in a boat right now, out at sea, we'd all be a bit nervous because every single person on the boat is on one side of it. They're all looking into the ocean. So time to get some balance on this side is trying to step through there. Neat little footwork. Number 18 for the Gold team. Can't quite see on the list just a moment. Tearing away here. A couple of times she's had a bounce, hasn't quite got the ball back. Coach will encourage that to happen again because it's the way to play footy. Just as you find your feet here as Gold try to manufacture the ball through a series of handballs into the middle. Paddling that nicely is Freeman. She loses it the other way though. Good work, Black again, and they can take a chest mark in the corridor once more. The handball flipped out. Very quick to Russo. Russo's got her own problems. Scores back into Wally again. Looking to connect in the middle of the ground. The Gold defenders are able to stand up here. Trying to run away with the ball once more was Newson. She's stripped of it. And Blacks have got their run and stun. Get the ball in the middle of the ground and tip over right.
A little bit of a lack of awareness there, peripheral vision to see what was around her, and went for the bounce when the defender was closing in on her.
That's Harper Gamble. It's great to see her having a bounce out there. Confidence player. Neat little connection. Finds Girardi. Girardi tries a little worm burner to Anderson's good enough to pick it up below her knees and turns inside right foot long and high. Gold got good representation, bouncing off hands and clamping on the tackle. Down there was Ariane Norris. And it's what you come to expect from these Peel girls.
Really well done by Rosie Anderson below her feet there, nice and clean and able to turn.
South Australian. She's a South Fremantle product as Diodaro comes out of the back line and just laces out a teammate in Pappas. This Perth product connects further afield with her teammate. Flips the handball off, trying to use Aubergine Rowley. It is working. There's Wally again through the midfield. It's been very busy. Rosie Anderson. Stephen Michael, South Fremantle product from Narrogin. And I know a lot of talent people in West Australia have been waiting for her to start to show how good she is. And that's Hadley marking nicely in defence. Sorry, that was Costons. My apologies. Black going forward again. Game played between half-back at the moment. It's Deisler. Quick kick around the corner's okay. From Greenwood. Rosie Anderson flashes in again. Diodaro at half-back for Black. Gives it to Pappas. Defence okay. Through the hands, though, and this time, unfortunately, for Blizzard. It looked likely she's recovered her own football. She pops this up the chimney. Don't want to be coming down there, Father Christmas. All bouncing around now, 50 metres out from goal. Rowley looks for the handball. It's a pretty good one. Trying to find a pathway through there. The black team eventually do. The kick's okay. It's going towards goal. It could roll on. Unfortunately, hits the post. Now, that was Mia Russo. I think she had 2 or 3 possessions in that, or 2 or 3 little incidents or contacts in that passage of play. And in the end, decent right foot snap for goal.
Yeah, it was. It was very, very close. I thought she was centering it, but she done well to screw it around enough to almost score.
Definitely looked to be trying to connect. Black team, 7. 10 minutes 39 played in quarter 1 with Clint Degebrot and Bo McDonald, State 18's coach and head of coaching in WA. Have you seen the progress of this group, Bo?
Yeah, this group's been working hard. Their training sessions have been extremely hot over the last 4 or 5 weeks. So they should be fit, mate. But yeah, plenty of athleticism. Every year the athleticism seems to get better and better, and also the skills. Probably hasn't been the most skillful game early, but I'd expect it to open up as the game goes on.
Wonderful crumbing goal just underneath Bo's comments there from Feist. Ella Feist from West Perth just found the footy below her knees and was able to pop that in, and that's 2 snaggers to the black side. Go to 2-1-13 with the Golds. A couple of good inside 50s, but yet to score.
Yeah, I actually think the Gold side's moved the ball better through the middle part of the ground. Black have just seemed to get there in weight of numbers and a bit of scrappy footy, quick hands, quick kick, and won the contest when it's got inside 50. But from what I've seen so far, I've really liked the way the Gold team have moved the ball. They probably just need to capitalise a bit more once they get inside the forward 50.
It's that last kick, isn't it? So often in underage footy. Lovely read off the pack here from Crane. Gets Gold going again. They've been very good at this little piece. Can't quite connect it half forward. Trying to bust her way through now. It's had a couple of flashy possessions so far in this game. Trying to run and carry that football over the back and a towering mark at the top of the square. Wonderful kick in. Can't quite catch that lady's number who was running and carrying, but just made the difference there. And it's Fotu from the Swan Districts Football Club that gets it over her head. Takes a 3-step run in and then just pops it through. Very confident little kick. Didn't need to go back and have too big a think about that. But Bo, I just couldn't quite catch the young player that got that ball in. He's had a couple of bounces.
That was really good ball movement out of the centre bounce. Seen 3 handball link. And they lowered the eyes and hit the little hit up at the top of the 50. She dropped the ball but recovered it really well and got it in nice and high to Fotu and contested marks. That's what we like to see, especially as the 18s coach. Really love to see the contested marks in the forward line.
I think it's Matthews from South Fremantle that's had a couple of bounces and got that long and deep in that instance, and it's exactly what we were sort of talking about. Makes it more out of your 50s, and what a kick in Fotu. That's exciting catch overhead.
Does. It makes the defenders man up as well instead of dropping off and waiting for that big kick.
Wings in position, rolling the dice at each other. It's one of your favourite things, having worked with you for a long period of time. You love it when the wings stand so far away from each other. It's a good field positioning in terms of midfield work. Pulled off the footy by Rosie Anderson. As we got a scrap ball in front of us, nice and close. You can even see through the smudges on the glass. Speaking about hot conditions, tossed out of the play there was Freeman. Never took the ball. Rosie Anderson again, trying to move the ball. Solid clash of bodies. It's Crane standing up tall in the pack there. Was Gerbil.
Just a bit of, that's what we need, that get the ball outside to someone, what we call the outer circle, and
in the end it flipped out to right, maybe fortuitously, but the kick is then marked by ahead of the play by Girardi. Girardi pops it to Fotu at the top of the square. She's done it again, takes a little fiver, she goes back to take a kick from directly in front.
Got a bit of Wardlaw about her that plays for the Brisbane Lions.
Actually, that's a great call. She's long and quick, isn't she? Stands up tall.
I think it's the next step for our game is contested marking will start to come into it. It's probably not the highest rate of scoring, especially in the AFLW, but I had the pleasure of watching Fremantle Melbourne last week, and Taylor Harris and co, they put on a contested marking display, and starting to see it come into the game more and more, and Fotu has certainly shown already in the first quarter that she can get up there and take the ball at its highest point with a bit of strength. Really well done.
Moran's has just come from the ground, just getting her wrist checked. You're right about Fotu's just standing under the footy and putting her hands high. She's very confident with her kick too. Highly skilled young player. It's Olivia Crane's had her hands on a couple of times. We've just got a text message in that apparently her nickname is Soft Serve. I've no idea what that means, and I'm hoping it's clean and above board. It's come from a good source. So Olivia Crane, known at her footy club Subiaco as Soft Serve. Watching teams just get their changes right for the Wolmerin's injury. She's with the physio now. It's flashing through again. It's a lovely play here by Gerbil. Coming the other way, trying to pick that up to Norbury. Ricochets off her shins and gives Gerbil another chance. She's tossed forward. Rosie Anderson waiting in spot A. Trying to go past again was Freeman. Rosie's got her own footy. Touched off the boot in the hands of Diodaro. She flips it out wider to Patterson. Can't quite find the handle yet, Patterson, but working hard at ground level. Pursuing her is Lucy Greenwood. Pack arrives now, picking up nicely and trying to step out of there was Greenwood again. Gets inside and a long ball. Coming up off her player. A couple of the black defenders did really, really well, and a nice mark taken by Norbury.
Like this by the black team coming out the other side from defence.
Haven't quite seen whose this is, but it looks like Riley Fisher, a Bunbury product. Running, carrying on this side. First time we've seen her into the game. It is Riley Fisher from Swan Districts Footy Club. Up from Bunbury. Exciting young workhorse. Lovely little connecting kick. It's taken neatly overhead by Blizzard. Blizzard's looking for something in the corridor. Bit off maybe more than she can chew there. And again, it's another intercepting mark from the black team. Good clash of bodies. The contested marking that Bo McDonald's talking about. Prepared to put their body where they need to be to hold the ball out. Hold their opponent out to get first access to the footy. It's Crane coming through from halfback. Getting the ball up forward. Plenty of black numbers. WA black carry. Like Gamble going towards Rowley, who's found her measure now. Dangerous player, dangerous young player. Fumbled a couple early, but it's great to see her radar on. She goes long and high to the square. Camped under that. There's a couple of different players. Off the black team's hands into the Golds. Golds are now trying to construct something out of halfback. Little handball receive, handball give, and finds it with Blizzard. Blizzard gives it to Dyser. Has a bounce after a couple of steps and got some trouble now. 15 seconds to go. There's a holding the ball turnover in the back pocket. Fantastic pressure from Beck Anderson, and she's going to get a chance to kick for goal after the siren to make it all worse Black Wild, because Black led the quarter really nicely. 13 points, 2 goals, 1. Gold flashed back into the game through 2 photo catches and conversions, and Anderson right behind her on this kick too. She's looked likely. Very deliberate. The kick's okay. Flat and hard. Will it get the distance? It does, and it's marked on the line. Inside the field of play, and that's quarter time. I like your call, Bo, about getting it to the outside and having a bit of a run and carry. It was an exciting part of both teams, I think, was their willingness to bounce. Is that an instruction that comes from the top of the program?
Look, we want them to be able to use the space. Especially as this young cohort starts to come through, and their skills are really good. We want to be able to kick it and get it out that other side of the ground and actually use it and identify when it's there. So yeah, it's definitely on this ground as well. It's probably one of the biggest grounds going around in the waffle. So yeah, let's use it. If you're out there and you've got some pace, it's just really about reading where can I get the next kicking and getting out there. And I think you'll see as the game goes on and a bit of fatigue comes into it, the fitter runners will really start to show on this ground.
New Choice Homes Park, it's the National Development Championship brought to you, like all our underage football in Australia, by the NAB Bank, produced and broadcast by Front Row Screens. It's the black team, 13 points leading the gold team, 12, 1 to Anderson, 1 to Feist, and 2 to Fotu for the black team. We're going into a break, and we'll have some more expert comments from Bo McDonald when we return.
So now you're here again, knocking at my door. A little too late for, I'm sorry for. The lights went out 'cause you kept cutting the cord, and I started to fade into your gray. See, I finally opened up my eyes.
I can hear it now.
Coming back to life. That I'd be better with
Welcome back to New Choice Homes Park here at Shark Park in East Fremantle. Terrific day for football. Not as hot as yesterday, Clint. Thank goodness for that. What do you think of the first half, mate? I thought it was pretty scrappy to start with. The goal team really started to get some good ball movement, some good links, some good run from behind and handball receives. And they just needed to clean up their entries in their forward line. And I think once they found they knew Photo could take a grab down there and they just need to put it up there, she went ahead and took two really impressive contested marks and finished them as well, which impressed me the most in that first quarter. I was really also happy with Rosie Anderson. She was really good below the knees and she showed a fair bit of zip and her ability with the ball. And little Brooklyn Gerbil inside, number 15 on the gold side. I've seen her play footy a couple of times. She's a really good inside mid who hunts the footy. Her running patterns are really good and she's clean. I don't quite think she's old enough to even play in the Rogers Cup yet, so she's just a young'un. So we'll see some good things from her going forward.
I like Wally. I like Jamara Wally from the black team in that quarter through the midfield. Diminutive player, but very clean and very constructive. How much have you seen of her? Or is this one of the first looks you've had?
It's one of the first looks I've had at her, which is good. I mean, that's what this program's all about. And I've also liked Daddario from on the back line in the black team. She's found the ball a couple of times and drove her legs and given them some impetus coming out of that half back line. And I suppose that's what we asked for the girls there. It's one thing to be able to do that, but we've got to hit that target and hit that target when you're coming out of the back line, just so it doesn't come back in as a repeat entry.
Mention Scrappy. The kids are generally at this level very excited to get out there and they get nice and close to the ball. But very encouraging from the very first, players bouncing the football, trying to create and trying to look for that switch. At the moment, unfortunately, the switch is going into the corridor from outside in defence.
Yep.
But obviously the coaching instructions throughout that quarter were pretty good because we ended up with a long, deep ball in, which he called for during that quarter. And the long, deep ball into Photo was the real answer for gold, and it capitalised on some good work that the midfielders were doing.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I'm pretty sure they'll try and replicate that. I wouldn't mind seeing Photo a bit later on, getting up the ground, maybe see if she can play that centre half forward role as well. But her contested marking is something that definitely sticks out, and I think the centre bounce work's been terrific for the team. Yeah, they've really worked together, covered all the exits, and they've been clean coming out of there. It's the girls will be nervous. This is the first time they've played together. Got to remember they come from all their Waffle W programs.
Some from down south as well, isn't it?
Yes, and some from down south in our Southwest program as well. So they'll be nervous. They don't know each other that well. They haven't played together. So yeah, look for the game to get better and better as the day goes on.
You always know the players are nervous when a couple of extra ones start on at the start of the first quarter.
It always happens.
And it's nice to see the girls settle in that quarter quite well on your screen. There is Photo, and standing her, a big job was Patterson. Patterson's been okay too as a defender, worked really hard at ground level. The gold mids, as you called, have been terrific in the stoppage work. And in the rebound work, the Blacks have had their measure.
There's two Photos out there, Clint.
This is so that Photo that was just on the screen then.
Alira
is the goal kicker. She's got two Photos, one from South Fremantle, one from Swan Districts. That's terrific. A decisive ruck jump this time. Blacks constructing their way out of the stoppage. That's their first clear clearance win. Running on beautifully, long and deep. Forwards come at the ball. Backs with her. That's Deisler, another Peel player. Jetting inside and releasing the handballs okay. It does find Blizzard, who's been very good early. She kicks it straight up the corridor, and it's going to be okay. Taken beautifully by Pollard. It was a bit camped in the middle. Matthews leads in the race. She'll be set upon by a couple of different players, but she shows a clean set of heels. Had a bit of trouble bouncing. She doesn't do it this time. Did want to see her to continue to do that because it's going to work for her, Matthews. Exciting little product from South Fremantle. Fleet of foot. And got themselves all tied up on the far side in the unfortunately couldn't get an effective handball away. It's great to see that kind of run. Black's now constructing the ball to the wing. Neatly done in the hands of Fotu. This one's Leela Fotu. Her kick connects beautifully up the ground to Russo. Russo turns inside with a lovely kick up a gamble. Can't quite get her hands on it. Then unfortunately gives it a little tip with the foot. It allows Liddington in. Strong defender, Liddington. Tumbling over the football now. No, it does squirt out. So this goes out the back again to Russo. Russo gets it back in a 1-2. Kick really not deep into the forward line. Dizer leads to the ball. It's Rook. It's Mahalia. Having a bit of trouble with that last name. I don't want to get it wrong. Kick is rebounded out on this far side again. Goes through Norbury's hands. Brings in Wally. Wally in turn gives it off to Gamble. Gamble's long high kick. There's plenty of gold under this. Standing tall, maybe spoiled each other. Roving the ball nicely was Masika. Masika kicked towards the square. Again, this is Mahalia. Strong forward. Little kick off the ground. Someone's being held off the ball.
I think Dills just held on for a little bit too long then.
Is that in the hands of Pappas? Ball doesn't go back to Pappas. Umpires have decided not to punish anyone in that. Don't quite get a line on her just yet. It's actually Madison Hadley. Madison Hadley, deliberate approach, gets a good foot strike and just gets it a little shallow for one.
A lot of play over that other side of the ground and ending up in that pocket, the same as the first quarter. I think we've seen a bit earlier, the black team tried to come inside, but it was just a fumble from Gamble there, I think it was, and if that fumble wasn't there, they would have been away. So you need to be clean to be able to move the ball the way you want.
Rakuata, that's how I'm going to try and say it. I'll try and check that at halftime to make sure that we're getting her last name right. But Mahalia Rakuata has gone to full forward for the black team, and it's a dangerous, tall, strong footballer tied up on the wing here. Just in transition, the gold team, black's good enough to hold him up. Let's go at it again. Sorry, Bo.
You would think there was a blowing westerly at the moment, the way the game's going. It's just all over that side of the ground.
Yeah.
The girls just keep running back and kicking back into pressure. They need to realise what's going on over the other side of the ground and get out into the space.
There is certainly some space in front of us. Good tight pitches from front row screens. They show a number of players on the far side. The handball doesn't quite connect. Trying to go through there is Rousseau. She gets it off the deck. Looks like Crane coming the other way. Handball to player beset, but Matthews is good enough to find her way through and just flick it over the shoulder across the body. Lovely kick towards centre forward. First there, and the cleanest. The black team rebounding through Patterson. Patterson's run down, unfortunately, in a good chase from Wright. Wright will receive the free kick. Good pressure from the high halves of Gold. Flat kick's okay. Looking to connect at the top of 50. Can't quite get a hold of that. Brings the backs into it. Anderson from the midfield fronts this pack. She's got to work to get her handball through. It's a good, strong tackle, though. She's not able to release that. Good wrap up from Norris, because all Anderson wants to do is loose that to her runners. Norris held onto it nice and tight. Bucks going at it again. It's been some clear wins to Newson in this. The flying kick from the stoppage has gone way, way across the goals and runs over the line in front of Rowley, who has gone to the back line in this quarter after having a decent game, decent first quarter at centre half forward. One thing I remember about Rowley, Bo, is a good runner. Loves to run with the footy.
Yes, well, today's the day for it. There's a lot of space out there.
Handball over the shoulder, violent handball slides Anderson. Anderson measures this up, it just pops it in. Gee, she assessed that situation well. Rosie Anderson just angled the body, turned the hips and hit the ball absolutely flush, and that is a terrific one from Anderson. Just defensively locking that ball in the forward 50 and able to get Gold team's third goal. They now lead. 3 goals straight, 2 goals 2.
Well done, Rosie Anderson from South Fremantle. That was showed her goal sense there, was able to pick it up really clean and get it on the boot straight away, and it was accurate. fantastic. Look, she's shown the athleticism already. She could probably play on the wing. She could play half-back and she could play up forward. So an exciting prospect.
I think she does that with, it's Craig McNaughton that gets to coach Rosie on a weekend in the Rogers Cup, and I think she does fly around the place. Just got Matthew subbing herself off and leaving the midfield one short. So the whistle will blow. There'll be a warning. It's given to the opposition. It gets given to the warning goes to the ruckman. Sorry, the ruck. Who generally just shrugs their shoulders. What do you want me to do about it? Being clearly in the ruck this time is Keeley. Can't work off her good work just yet. Like extracting the ball beautifully. It was Rosso. She kicks the ball up to centre forward. Standing under the footy there was Hadley. Can't quite gather it. As the Golds try to construct their way out. This is Pollard. Pollard in the end kicks this ball down the line. Reading this beautifully is Fisher. This is what you'll see from Fisher. She immediately plays on. The little don't argue is terrific. Little flat punt. Not exactly what she was after, but the pressure from the forwards is good, but just into the back in the follow through. We'll see the Golds be able to take a breath. Pressing. This is Blizzard. She's got her name written on that football. She kicks towards half forward. Over the back it goes. Coming off the bench and trying to strike there is Goebel. She does a couple of little handballs. Neither of them go anywhere. Kicked around the corner this time by Greenwood. A little 1-2. Again, that player, fresh legs off the bench, Goebel. And she, a little kick forward, connects with a teammate in Chris Tadero. Chris Tadero is well within range.
Start to see the Gold side now just getting up around the contested ball, able to find a little bit of space on the outside and use it.
Chris Tadero measures the kick. There's absolutely no question whatsoever about what she was going to do with it. She smacks it straight through the middle. She adds to the tally, Chris Tadero, and Gold go 2 up.
Yeah, great finish. It's one thing to be able to take the mark in there, but accuracy in front of goals is definitely somewhere we need to improve in the State 18 program. And if you can think back to last year, we lost 2 games both by a goal, and I reckon in both of those games we kicked 14, 15 points. And out of those 14, 15 points, I reckon 5 or at least 7 probably were absolute motzes. So it just shows the importance of being able to do all that hard work and get it down there, but we really need to finish off.
Goebel affecting that contest and getting it to Chris Tadero for the goal. I do remember, Bo. Pollard overruns it, which leaves a chance for Keeley to pick it up. Towards the 50 again, shallow entry. Goebel again, pushing off and trying to get the ball going her way against Gamble. Continually improving footballer, puts it to the path of Wally. Well, good enough to cut through, or she hands it off to Russo. Russo goes long and deep, reading it well as Deisler. She gets tackled and stripped of the footy. She was looking up to create it further afield, and a good little tackle which took the arm as well allows Anderson to have her 3rd shot for goal, and she's been very busy up front.
It was very good in the ruck there for the black team. Zoe Keeley, number 25 from South Fremantle. She's 181 centimetres, which is what we like, but just as Lauren Wackford's been doing this year for South Fremantle, her ability there to get after the second effort after she won the tap was fantastic.
Exciting. High praise if you're comparing her to Lauren Wackford, and this kick is taken. We'll call that a hanger.
Got the knee up.
She got the knee up
in the back.
Got a whole fistful of head and hair, and most importantly, hands on the football, and it's a wonderful catch in front of the face. We don't have number 22 on my team sheet.
It's Olivia Wallace.
Olivia Wallace. She goes back and just pops this straight through. Now, the goal kicking's been exceptional. I haven't seen before people get so... Just the girls being so comfortable just going back and taking the shot. No nervousness.
Well, I think what the black team's done better than the gold team in this did in the first quarter is get out of that far side pocket, and the shots they've had from goal are in that that corridor up the middle of the goals, and you just have a higher percentage rate of actually kicking the goal. And if you can attack that part of the ground more often, you're going to kick goals more often than you are points.
Got a contest. You called for this game to open up. It has.
Yeah, it certainly will. As the fatigue sets in and the girls start to get a bit more comfortable with each other and sort of settle into the speed of the game, they'll start to take it on a bit more.
Change of rucks. This one black. It's 1, 2, 3. It's a training drill as they go inside 50. It drops into the hole, but wonderful comes up and hits this on the chest. And I'm super impressed with Blizzard. She reels around on her right boot, tries to connect and does. Laces out pass to 22 in the hands of Liddington. Liddington goes down the line to Gerbiel. She can't quite finish the catch. Picking the ball off the ground beautifully there was Girardi. She goes towards her teammate, but it's Fisher from the opposition that chops this off. Swooping on it again is Freeman. Her kick down the line's okay. Gives a chance to her forwards ahead of the ball. In the hands of Cruz. One of the better names in footy, you'd think.
Well, we've seen play migrate over to this side now, which is excellent. Starting to see a bit more lateral ball movement across the ground, which is up on offer.
Both the commentators in the box, unaided with binocs. But, and both of the commentators north of 40 years age, so it's nice they're playing on this side of the ground. It's not about us, of course. Intercepting this ball, excellent as Pollard. She's going to go inside 50. She's something ahead of the ball she likes, and almost got it to her teammate there in Stanners, but cutting it off beautifully and exiting the 50 for the black team. It's in the hands of Anderson, picked up again by Russo. She's been busy. She manufactures a kick towards the wing. First to arrive, Freeman, the skipper today. There's a little look around. She blocks in the end for Cristodero. Tumbling ball towards half forward, intercepted again by the Blacks through the hands of Russo. Anderson's got it. It's a quick kick out of the pack again. Just creates play. Trying to cut inside and stepping. Missed tackle. Ball in deep. It's gone over the back. First to recover. It's Rowley. She holds the ball up. She's in a hands tackle now. Unfortunately, she's put it on the deck. She thought she was doing the right thing, trying to transfer play, but on that right foot, she's had to keep coming to this side. But wonderful tackle from Stanners, the top of the square. Now, she wastes no time either. These kids are confident. A lot more goal kicking practice at training, I think, these days than there used to be. She pops it straight through too. So it's a goal fest in the second quarter here at New Choice Homes Park.
Yeah, I can't quite recall who the player was, but stepping back inside and bringing that ball to the corridor. It was 4-on-1 forward for the Golds, mind you. Probably what we want to see there is the goal player hit one of those targets out of the four, and so we get a shot on goal. But just the weight of our numbers there once the ball come to ground. The pressure was too great and they got their shot on goal. But Wallerman's, for me, she's just come off. She's had a terrific couple of minutes in the ruck, and just seen her before then, she dropped behind the ball as the ruck and took an intercept mark, and that's something you look for from your tools that can realise when it's time to drop off and get up and get down there and help their defenders out. So that was fantastic with a couple of good hit-outs as well.
And of course she went forward, took that catch and kicked a goal. Trying to extract the ball now is Black. Little back feed's okay. Keeping her feet nicely. Pappas. Ball spits out. Turn and burn over Riley's head. Over Freeman's head. At half forward again now. Gold, bit of an onslaught. Black team have stopped to a crawl. Riley. Fisher. Kicks the ball towards a teammate here on the wing. It's Fotu. Takes the ball. Looks inside. It's okay to Mahalio. Takes a good catch in the circle. It's towards 50. Won't quite enter. It's a dangerous kick for Gold on the rebound because the Blacks are up and having attacked as they should. Turnover here is going to sting. Handballing the ball inside was Newson. And a bit of a stop play as Fotu just assesses. It's a good kick forward. Drops onto the chest of the teammate. She has a bounce straight away. That's Girardi, my apologies. Kick eventually turned off. It's a big contest centre forward, and running away with the ball here is Norbury. Good work. Norbury's connection's terrific.
We can see both teams now trying to get it out the opposite side that it comes in. I reckon that would have been an instruction from the coaches. The game was all over the other side. Now we're really seeing them trying to use the width of the ground, which is fantastic.
This is the kick that's a bit of a concern. Hadley's kick is intercepted. Is just looking or bouncing the ball effectively inside and outside of the corridor, not getting into the corridor and owning it. Picked up and stepped inside was McCauley, and she's eventually caught with the ball. She's trying to create. Runner needs to go out there and pat her on the back because that's exactly what she should be doing, Meg McCauley. Good tackle though. This is in the hands of Jabil. Running passes Matthews. Jabil ignores that, goes really wide. Kicks to a young lady out on the far side there who's got a bit of go in her, and Cruz, and she pushes off. But unfortunately didn't push off strong enough Dustin Martin style, Ebony Marinoff style. She's caught holding the ball with a good tackle on the last line. Attempt to connect is really good through the hands of Wally. into the corridor. Gold in the box seat here. Looks like Cristodero. Cristodero cuts inside and finds her right foot and deserves a snagger, and she gets it. Looked like she was going to push left. Pushed off the left foot hard. Found a space. I guess a little rugby union style.
Yeah, it's
and
something.
got a snagger.
It's something I look for a coach. Players that are able to open up the space by cutting their angles. It is a bit rugby league like, a halfback off rugby league. We saw Michaela Tuakarona do it for our State 18s program many a times in the last campaign, and got that ability to get around, break tackles and cut the angles. It just opens up another side of the ground. And as these girls get better and they're able to use both sides of their feet, then it's going to open up even more.
Just a nice little shot there of Cristodero just talking her opponent through what she's just able to do.
I wonder if she's saying, I'm going to kick another one on you.
She's just having a chat to Alana.
Doubt it.
Papalia. Did you see that? Lovely little step and drive.
It's been a good ruck battle today so far. We've got plenty of tools out there at 180.
Mahalia, give that to her. She rucks that down. Black's trying to get away. Game slipped away from Gold a little, from Black a little. Ball in back into the ruckman. Mahalia turns inside. Tries to find teammate in Wallermans. She does find the handle eventually. Ricochets off hands at 50-metre mark. Good contest on the footy on the far side of the ground. It's Liddington fires that one out. Running on nicely. Clean pickup and long ball in. Doesn't really suit Anderson. Brings the defender in through Sexton. She does well to hold this ball up just at half-back. Trying to step inside. Trying to create play again. Good tackle. It's Blizzard. To Reach. Ball's tipped out towards Reach again. To Blizzard. Blizzard's trying to find someone. She does in the end eventually, but bit of a coach killer as she kicks the ball towards the top of 50. 30 seconds left to play. Black can manufacture something here. It's in the hands of Liddington, who runs on. She just needs that little handball away. She chooses to kick the ball instead. And she's kicked a goal with a couple of seconds left in the quarter. And it was actually Ariane Norris. Lovely play. And again, we talked about rugby league at the far end. She grabbed hold of that footy. She flexed, breaks through, and then kicks a goal.
That's what we like to see. We train it. We call it test the tackle. When someone's coming at you, don't just accept being tackled, really test it out. And she done that there and was able to kick the goal.
Picture on picture here now. That's a lovely little goal to finish the quarter, and a great highlight for a young player to do exactly what her coaching staff have asked. You can see on the screen there, it's Black 4-2-26 that are trailing 6 goals straight, the goal team. And that is a wonderful start to the quarter. There's 10 goals kicked in a half. Wonderful coaching from both coaches, or both coaching staffs. We're here at the NAB, or the NAB National Development Championships, here with front row screens. Sitting with you is Clint Degerot and state coach Bo McDonald at New Choice Homes Park. The young ladies are going to go down into the rooms and get a drink of water and cool off. We're going to do the same here in the commentary box as we just go out to a few messages from the people that bring us these live streams week after week. Fantastic supporters of female football in WA. Front row screens.
So now you're here again, knocking at my door. A little too late.
Back just for a little stint. I'll be back this week. Let's have to change the car over. Oh, yeah, it's working. Yeah, good. Just getting some highlights here in the NAB Development Championship. Ball zinging around the field What a contrasting second quarter that was to the first. And I know from some experience that it can be quite frustrating as a coach when the players are playing very defensive in the starts of these games. And at quarter time, the players were told to open the game up, as we see Photo kick for goal. And have you ever seen a player that's ever been more assured of her kicking skills than Photo in that situation? Ellie Lampkin sitting with me. She's the boss of the State Academy female section. She's sitting alongside me now to give her a couple of her insights into what she's seen so far and what she'd expect to see in the third quarter.
Thanks, Degs. Good to be here and good to see you back at the footy. Been really impressed by what we're seeing out there from the young players, especially the contested marking, and we're taking the game on a lot more. A lot of run and bounces, a lot of flying for the marks and some snapshots. Really impressive stuff from our young players out there.
We're having a guess up in the box, Bo and I, that that's the instruction that's coming from the coaches. You've been down there with the coaches. Are they directing the players to be more aggressive with the football?
Definitely. We want them to take the game on. We want to make sure that they're showing all their talents and letting us see who they are and they express themselves as footy players. So we want more switches. We want to make sure that the players aren't going all in for the ball and we're getting some space and some run. And one of the messages was, let me see you do some cool stuff out there. So.
Yeah, and there has been some stuff there. Blizzard's off a half-back flank's been terrific. Haven't seen anything of her myself, but I'm very impressed with her read of the ball.
Oh yeah, she's probably rebounded the ball 50% of the time when it's gone down there. She's a East Fremantle player. She's trying to crack into the Rogers Cup team at the moment. So.
Well, this is not doing herself any harm today. You would
Not
think
at all.
5 goals scored in that quarter must warm your heart. I remember when I had a similar job to you. Panic was always a 2-goal 8 to 2-goal 8, and what we're seeing out there is terrific. How much goal kicking have you been concentrating on throughout the 16s program?
Not as much focused on goal kicking as much as trying to get the ball out into space and get lots of players running and taking on the game and feeling like
Anderson,
we can,
just in the highlight, just crashing the pack.
yeah,
She's
could
an
see her wind
excitement
up for that
machine.
one.
Yeah, it's probably why I interrupted you, but to talk about Rosie Anderson. But tell us a little bit about working with her.
Oh, she's just a genuine, amazing human. Coming up from Narrogin, it's a bit hard for her to connect with a lot of training sessions at South Fremantle and with the State Academy, but she's just got genuine talent that we love to see, especially when she gets the opportunity to run and fly at the footy. So it's good to see her up playing today, and hopefully we can get her playing next week and a lot more footy for South Fremantle this year.
How old is Rosie Anderson? She's still very young, isn't she?
Yeah, she's turning 17 this year, so she's...
There's a window opening for her with the State Age program this year and next.
Yes.
Particularly next.
Yeah, especially next year. With more footy behind her, she's definitely going to be pushing for a spot in the 18s program.
You've unearthed a little player in Wally. I also like a number of these smaller players, like Wally's one of those. There's a lovely ruckman in Woola Morans, and she seems to be the goods too. And Newson's been opposing her. Crane's been good too. I'm just trying to find it's Girardi. Interested in your thoughts on Wally and Girardi.
Yeah, Wally's West Perth. She's one of those zippy little players that is clean below the knees. She's very young still, only going to turn 15 this year. And who was the other one, sorry?
Girardi. Sienna Girardi from Swan Districts.
Yes, she's a little whippet. She's one of the ones that we're trying to convince to stay with footy. She's a basketballer, and she's
You can see the
committed to this state program, so it's really good to see her flourish. She's another person turning 15 this year, so we've got her again in the 16s program next year.
Speaking of Newson, that's her there, a bit of a run and carry. She looks to be a developing young player.
Yeah, she's a developing young ruck. She's our tallest player at 185 centimetres. She's done some good things in the middle. Got to work on some skills, which talls sometimes take a little bit longer to develop anyway. So
almost always.
Yeah.
Just a lot more to coordinate when you're a bit longer. Okay, when you're 4'3", your centre of gravity is good. I've seen some of these highlights that front row screens have put together, and the one thing that I've seen is a big difference is contact on the body for the ball, and then obviously overhead marking, contested marking. But some of the decision making by foot in terms of, you see that goal there, she just turns her hands just to strike that ball the right way. And that's something that I've really appreciated. That was Hadley kicking a snagger there. Sorry, that wasn't Hadley. That was on 5, wasn't it? So that was Feast.
Yeah.
So Feasty's just turned her hand over and got that good contact on the ball. So what I've always thought of is that the girls are starting to really understand how the ball works and how they can manipulate it, as we see Fotu do what we love to see all footballers do, which is rip down a catch at the front end.
Yeah, we've seen all the players coming through played a lot more football, so they're just used to manipulating the ball in their hands so it hits the right side of the boot when they want to get it in the right direction. And they're reading the flight of the ball a lot better because they have played a lot more footy, hence the run and jump at it. Fotu again in the goal square, taking the hanger. It's good to see, and
Look at that approach too. Just
Very
a perfect
deliberate.
mechanical kick and ball drop. And Bo McDonald in the back of the box just nodding with a smile on his face saying, you might get a run in the 18s next year, young lady.
and she's too young. She's got another year in 16s.
And that's
Fotu.
Alira Fotu.
Yeah,
And Alira Fotu is with South Fremantle, and Layla Fotu is also with South Fremantle.
yeah, sisters. So 2 years apart.
Why have I got one of them at Swan Districts?
No, they're both South Fremantle. It's probably just a error from our end on the paperwork. So they're both playing at South Fremantle.
Exciting to have those two. And you've got Anderson running around as well. I think Craig McNaughton might be attempting to extend his contract to work with these players for a couple of years because something big's happening at South Freo.
Yeah, there's some good young players coming through.
This is Anderson now too.
Rosie
Look at that. Just
Anderson.
turns the ball in her hands, pulls it across the body, and look at that. She knew straight away as soon as she hit it that it was a snag. And then her teammates appropriately come and snuggle her up. Another player on screen right now, Cristadero. She's got 2. One very impressive step through. This is a nice foot strike from straight on. She gets the flex going as well.
Yeah, I
Haven't
think
seen much of her either.
the setup for that goal was very impressive.
We couldn't see the player that was involved. We never got a second look.
Oh, so it was little Brooklyn.
Yes.
So she's 2008, so she's only turning 14 this year. So she's got a couple more years before
Oh yes.
jumping into the 18th
She came off the
program.
bench to do that. Yes,
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah. Did a couple of 1-2 link-up handballs and then a really laced out.
Some of the
For
Hills
Ava.
Rangers product. They're spitting up some decent young players up there.
Yeah, and I know Fee Boucher is licking her lips trying to get her into Swan Districts at the moment, but she's just a bit too young.
They
But
wouldn't stop Fee from applying and sending an email every week.
I definitely think that she's trying really hard to get the Waffle W to approve her to play, but a couple more years and she'll be in there.
Another young one there, Megan Norbury kicking a goal from the top of the square. Again, deliberate in their approach for goal. It doesn't seem to be eyes darting around this year.
No, they're
The
very
16th group.
good. They're very sure of themselves. They played some really good footy.
That's Rukuata taking a catch.
Yeah, Mahalia is very tall. She's very athletic. Just need to get her backing herself in and moving around and getting some more contests, and she'll definitely get more of the footy.
Imagine the type of player, if she's going to collect some contests, she's going to collect some ball at the same time.
Definitely.
That's seen Rosie Anderson's attempt at a hang again, which of course caused that ball to fall down inside forward 50. Matthews as well from South Fremantle, bit of run and stun. Ellie Lampkin, just going to ask her a question, but she's actually been called out of the box. I was just going to talk about the run and stun there of. I've lost my train of thought. Now you threw me when you took the headphones off.
Sorry.
No, we see last the highlights of the half. Ball spinning around. This is one of my favourite parts here. This was the Norris goal. Who took the tackle, pushed off, looked to handball the ball over the top, then realised that both my hands are free and my feet are free, and then she just kicked it straight through the middle at the right time. So, as we said before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goals kicked. 4 of those to the gold team, and 2 of them to black. So 6 straight for gold. We're going to our last break as we see the ladies have entered the field to do their warm-up. And we'll have a quick break and bring all the action of the second half, starting with the third quarter after this.
So now you're here again, knocking at my door.
Here we are in the black huddle. There's Beck putting the black team through their paces. Coaches will pretty much just drop the board at half-time, I imagine, Bo, and then put the magnets back on, give everyone a chance to play in a different position. The player out there that I really like, which is Mendoza. Haven't seen too much of Athena yet, so hopefully we can get her into the action. It's someone who can take a mark overhead and kick the ball quite well too. Just panning over towards gold. A couple of players that have been interesting to watch, and in the gold team, it's all been chocolates in the second quarter. They've kicked 6 goals straight. And each of the goal kickers have looked very assured over their own boot.
6 goals straight's outstanding.
Yeah, and you don't often see it in underage football.
Yep.
So you see that just to...
We spoke about it before, the ability to get back into the corridor when you can.
Well, you're a coach and you've coached at AFL level, and if I said to you that we're going to take all of our marks 10 metres out from goal directly in front, what do you reckon our goal efficiency would be?
It would certainly go up.
And that's what Gold have done. They've taken their catches at the top of the box.
Yeah, sometimes we just need to put the defender under pressure and stay in the corridor and then force them to beat you in a contest there. Boundary line's their friend. That's where they want you out wide there. They'll give you that space, but sometimes you can just stay in the corridor and really put them under the pump, especially if you can catch the ball like Lola Fotu. I wouldn't be leading anywhere near the pocket. I'd just be staying at home and really getting a jump at the ball every time and putting the defenders under the pump. And I mean, then what that does also is it allows the smalls coming back with the ball. It gives us a bit of predictability, and if you don't mark it and it hits the deck, you can rove it for a goal or really create some pressure. And like we do in the State 18 side, I think one of our mantras is we really want to be a team that turns the ball over in the forward half of the ground. So how you enter the forward line certainly helps with that.
Terrific segue into the 18s, because your campaign is winding up now. Winding up as in getting very close to the travel. So when do you travel?
We've got some travel coming up. I think we've got 3 weeks till our first game. We've got some trial matches that'll be taking place. The first one will be Saturday the 26th. Trial match 2 will be Saturday the 2nd of April. And the first game is Saturday the 9th of April. We fly to Adelaide, and it'll be a little bit interesting for the girls. Actually, Adelaide were just going the day before. We were going to be in and out, flying at 6:30 and getting in and out, but we're flying the day before. Get over to Adelaide, try and get the business done. A big focus for us, I suppose. Last year campaign we went to Adelaide, and we probably didn't start the first quarter the way we wanted to. We ended up losing the game by a kick. We came home strong, and I think something that we learned from that is we need to be ready to go for the first quarter of the campaign. So we've got a big focus on that.
A lot of focus last year with that squad on hiring electric scooters the night before the game. That was the big thing that they wanted to do in Adelaide City.
Yes, well, we have to remember...
Run the Rundle Mall.
Even though you can talk to them, but we're still dealing with young 18-year-olds. So, they're just there to guide them and help them make the best choices. But that's often something you see with these young'uns. We generally do go better the second and third game because there's so many learnings along the way, and this is the first time for some of these girls. You don't expect them to get everything right. Our job is really just to make them aware of what best practice is. It's almost a bit of work experience if you want to go to the next level of what's going to be required. So always educating, Clint, and getting on a scooter the night before our game's probably not a good thing in Adelaide, eh?
No, I do remember Trent Cooper telling us a story about how he had to keep some of his more dynamic forwards off the scooters before they played Adelaide Crows as well. We're in the middle. Lovely pictures of Abby Reach just prior to the bounce. A good young player as the black team works to get this ball forward. Seems they've lost Diodaro, just resting in the second half. She's been a good player for them. Interesting to see how they replace her. Overhead was solid from Norbury. The handball goes outside to a teammate in Papalia. Now ends up back in the centre square. 2-on-1. Good body contact again. Trying to shove her way through there was Newson. Ball's fed out eventually. A little back feet. Finds itself in the hands of Sexton. Sexton's kicks a good one. Connects very nicely with the teammate had the ball in right. Right's build is good. She tries to turn the ball up towards Christodero. She's been a danger. Cast in the role this time as a defensive forward, so she kicked 2 snags in the second quarter. And she's done a run-down tackle in the third, and her kick's a beauty. So she's run-down tackle as a defensive forward, and then she's able to kick the ball towards a forward, He's able to take that ball overhead.
We were talking about that just in the break, the ability to lead in the corridor and not take the easy option out to the pocket.
Tony Tickle's kick doesn't quite get there, but it's in the hands of a teammate in Freeman. Freeman's kick towards the goal, around the corner, hits the post, and it's the first blot of the copybook for the Gold side. What an exciting thought process she went through there. She had a little look inside. Is there anything on for me? There's not. She scanned wide and then realised that it was all up to her, and she nearly kicked goal of the day. Kick in from Black. Goes through Gerby. It's carried up the ground by Hadley. Ricochet's a good one for Anderson. Kicked 2 goals in the first half. She dishes off to Woolmerans. Woolmerans' kick is intercepted by Blizzards, but it's not. It's off the chest and onto the deck. Good, strong body work in there from Mendoza. Mendoza's now on hands and knees to Mahalia, my apologies. Ricochets the ball towards Feist. Feist in turn over to Woolmerans. Woolmerans is just dancing around the pocket there. She pulls this across the body, but waiting at home is Anderson. Anderson takes on the chest and immediately plays onto the far side of the ground. The kick's a good one too, and the connection is neatly done through Wright. Wright turns and goes. Short kick doesn't quite get as far as she wanted. She was looking further afield for Greenwood. Turned inside out. Now the Black team. Nice pace shown on the far side as this ball's handed to Patterson. Patterson's kick towards the 50 through the hands of the defenders. Picked up nicely by the ruck. Is waiting back behind the ball. But it's Rukuata who gets the handball across to Woolmerans. Woolmerans runs in open goal and she's got 2. Nicely done. The centres for the Black team set up beautifully to intercept and rebound protection. I know that's a big mantra of yours, Bo, that rebound protection. A couple of things you'd be enjoying seeing from the young players out there today. Yeah,
certainly. The way they were set up behind the ball there to, like I spoke about, turn it over in their forward half. If you can keep creating those repeat entries, the pressure keeps building. You eventually get a shot on goal. Woolmeran, she's just kicked off where started where she left off in the first half. She was amongst it in the ruck. She pushed forward, kick a goal. Then in the ruck, she dropped behind the ball and took a mark down back. So she showed a bit there, and she just showed a bit of forward prowess there, able to finish off from ground, picking up a ground ball. And she's quite a tall lass as well. So it's a terrific effort.
It's encouraging signs from a ruck below the knees to pick up a goal and score. She's got 2. Anderson in the ruck now too. Has got 2 herself. Black team first to score in the third quarter. This is constructed nicely through Norbury. She's been very handy too. Fisher connects nicely ahead of the ground to Mendoza, who's come alive in this quarter. A little wide pass is okay. Lots of space out there. Steps inside. Long and deep. Got into the wrong position there. Off hands though, Woolmerans. Rukuata just couldn't quite get there. Rosie Anderson's playing back. She steps through. Handball release is good too in the hands of Matthews. Matthews does what she does best, which is run fast. Kick towards her half forwards has skipped over them. It's in the hands now of the opposition in Costons. She's accosted by Gold. Little connection ahead as Christadera looks awkward in this occasion, but takes a nice catch. Wheels around, long and deep. She's got a couple of players at home. Nearly into the hands of a teammate. Ball ricocheting around in that goal square. Dangerous place to be. A little surrender handball from Wally is okay. It's in the hands of Rowley. And Rowley connects further ahead. Thought about the handball, but took a breath instead. That's too nice little kick to teammate Papalia. Plays on immediately, puts this in the path of Russo. Russo picks it up, steps inside, gets a little bit of pressure, doesn't allow her to do exactly what she was planning to do. Just kick off the ground again from Matthews. Spoiled and going the other way was Papalia. 6 or 7 involvements already this quarter, Papalia. And a little bit of eye contact there as Rosie Anderson looked to player through that pack.
Certainly shown a bit, Rosie Anderson, that she looks really comfortable down back off that half back line, and she looks like a player that will be very handy getting some run and carry out of the back line.
Wright's mark and kick there's another good one, taken off hands. Wright has been a very good connecting player. Half forwards are hard to come by sometimes in the female game. Wright looks the goods as a mid forward connection. This ball's transitioned down the far side of the ground all the way into the 50 for Gold. Blacks have got their hands full. Ricochets back out. Defensive kick's okay to the line, but intercepted by Gold. Pulls it back towards the goal square, and it's Wally. Looks like she's playing in the back pocket. Plays on quickly. Gets it in the hands of Norbury. Norbury's kick's okay to Fisher. Constructing nicely. Trying to get it to Pappas. Tackled very well by Jabil, who's got the ball in hand now. Gives it across to Matthews. Fisher trying to make amends. Raking through was Woolamarins, and that was wonderful work. Bit of basketball in her. Kick defensively is okay. It's like Pollard first to rebound. She goes inside. It's got something inside the corridor she likes. Misses her intended target in Stanners. Picking up's Rowley. Rowley thrashes this ball forward. Trying to give Zoe Keeley a chance. Keeley, her opposite ruckman, takes the ball, intercept the middle of the ground. She has a bounce if you don't mind. Steps inside, good tackle, releases the hand to Rukuata. Rukuata finds a handball in turn. Too slick for her teammate in Masika. Gold defending desperately. Looks like Pollard keeps her feet. Tackler loses it, pushed towards the line. Doing a bit of work down the back line, Crane. Rukuata's come alive. Tackled, and the ball spills over the line. I think everyone was happy with what happened there, Bo, because it was building quite quickly against.
It was. It's been going up and down the length of the ground for the last couple of minutes.
A little breath might be okay here. Woolamarins come alive. Rowley at the back, trying to come through is Hadley. Ricocheted hands. Ends up with Fisher. She's been busy. Good tackle. Well held in too. That's another thing that's been impressive over the last couple of years, is the ability to secure the ball in a tackle. That was Russo. Leaping over the top and getting good hands. That was Newson. The teammates now trying to make use of that good hit out. Picking the ball up on the moves, Norbury. Saying that name quite often. She flips it off towards Feast. Feast again. Looking for a runner. Finds Russo. Russo's got no place to run through. Yellows can, or Golds can now rebound the footy. Rukuata has come alive in this quarter, and she keeps that ball locked inside forward 50s. Matthews looked to slip away. Backs at it again. As you can see, top of 50. Black's pressing. Couple of players nutmeg there. Hadley again looking for a receive at the back. Construction of the ball is very good. Can't quite finish her good work off Costons, though she's back in the contest again now. Running away with the footy was Hadley. Ball inside. Masika trying to get her hands on that. She's beset upon by defenders. Gold construct a couple of handballs well. Looks to be in the hands of Meg McCauley. Trying to find her right foot. Gets it to Deisler. In the hands of Newson. And Newson was trying to construct her way through but couldn't quite find the hole. Hadley, good tackle. Hadley just trying to walk around the mark. Little kick, flat kicking is okay. Off the chest of Woolamarins. We didn't see that it was going to come through. Ricocheted footy there from reach. Ball going back inside again through Masika. That's taken on the chest this time by Keeley. A big press by WA Black. The tall forwards are finding the ball laces out. They're in good position. Keeley, another confident approach. Low ball drop. She's going to carry the line. It does. You can see the WA Black players on the line quite happy. And she looks like, I just do this every day. I'm not too happy about that. But that was a wonderful kick, Keeley.
Certainly was. The talls have been fantastic today. We've got 3 or 4 out there above 180 centimetres is what we look for with our talls, and they're not everywhere. And to see a few of them out there today doing what they're doing, getting amongst the game and kicking goals and taking contested marks, it's fantastic to see, and it looks good for the future.
Lovely pictures, of course, of Rosie Anderson giving her opponent Keeley a clap for that snag. They do train together, the ladies. They train as one group. They split up to play against each other. So a lot of camaraderie between all the clubs, all the Waffle W clubs, and many of the clubs from the southwest. And as we hear from Rosie Anderson, Narrogin just got a little breach. As you'd love it, Bo, being a ruckman. The ruck gets told it's your fault. And as always, the ruckman shrugs. Good jump from Rowley. Just kept Newson out of the contest. Rowley now casting the role of her own rover. Pushed off it by McCauley. McCauley jumps forward in the tackle. Trying a bit of a fresh air shot was right. Now gets a little bit of foot on that. Maybe a little bit more ankle than she intended. Running on this loose ball. Couldn't quite get her head and shoulders over it. Stanners still tumbling towards Gold's goal. It's Freeman. But picking that ball off is Patterson. She gets to carry it, little run and carry. Looking ahead of the field, looking for Woolen Maroons again. She does well, picks this ball up. Must be a bit of basketball in her background because she loves to rake that ball in with those long arms. Something very exciting to watch about that young player.
She has a very quick reaction time to the next contest. She runs very hard. If you watch her behind the play, she runs really hard, which is a good sign. She actually started as an on-baller at that centre bounce and not as a ruck, so she's got a lot of versatility there.
I like the coaches doing that too, because she's not just tall, she's very sleek. Well, she's born 2007, and not only 2007, she's born in November. One of the youngest players on the ground, qualifies for Rogers Cup. Excitement machine. Olivia Crane this time. And ball out. Good balance shown there by Fotu. Couldn't quite step through. Wrapping up Matthews. They've been a lot more wary of Matthews after they see what she can do when she gets free. Started to mark her a lot closer than they did earlier. Through Rukuata. Trying to get that down. A couple of flips over to Rowley. Was from the Peel Footy Club. No relation to Courtney Rowley from West Coast Eagles.
Yeah.
Over Jean. On the far side, bit of run and stun stuff. That's Matthews again. It's great to see her getting loose. Kicks okay, turns inside. Nicely done. Thumbs up from Bo. The coach inside was Teakle. Finds a runner in the corridor, unfortunately. Her forwards running away from her. And the backs stood still. A nice intercepting mark. And then kick towards her teammate. Can't quite get the handle on that one. Costins. Too much pressure as Papalia tried to run away. Inside handball was a good one. Finds Stanners. Stanners' kick goes not as far as she hoped. Ball turns around. Deisler. She comes the other way. A little flat low of the eyes. Kicks okay. It's opened up the ground a bit and it's bouncing in front of Crane. The soft serve. She chases this ball down. It's Wally. Definitely playing back in this quarter. Attempting to push off the ball. It's Woolemarins. Matthews too strong, but then the run down tackle from Woolemarins. And she's done a few things, Woolemarins, but she's also run down one of the fastest players out there in Matthews. Coach needs to go to Matthews and keep saying, Matthews, you are playing well. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't matter that you get caught every now and again. Running onto the loose ball this time. He's Sexton, Dakota Sexton. You can hear for the effects, Mike. People calling her name. A lovely little carry from Russo. Just a little bit too much for Anderson. Waiting in the space nicely was Reach. Reach looks into the corridor and finds Meg McCauley. Corley, kick to the launch pad is good. Tucks under the hip there. Girardi has a bounce and just dusts her opponent off. She's at the back of the box now looking for the top of 50. A second bounce. She flattens the kick out, looking to connect, and it's a great intercept mark at the back there from the goal kicker from the second quarter in Norris. Norris is doing it at both ends. Norris's kick's okay. Finds Patterson, who really is running nicely. Ball doesn't come back at all. That's not your fault. That was obviously a flat ball or a flat patch. She kicks it towards Pollard, another Hills Ranger product. Playing at the Swans this year, I think. A handball to release the runner to Mendoza's okay. She looks back to help to get a kick away, and it was probably Mendoza's opportunity to get one on the right foot, Bo. She looked to open up the ankle a little bit for a teammate.
It's a great bit of play by Sienna Girardi there to be able to use her feet to get around a couple of opponents, and I suppose where we just need to keep educating the girls is where is the space when I'm going forward and how can we be more efficient and hit some free forwards. I'm sure if you look at the replay there's plenty of options there.
Long ball touched off the boot, raking mark from Woolemarins, and it would have been a catch of course, but touched off the boot unfortunately.
May have got a little bit too hard. She's cramping. She's done so much.
She has, and it is cooler than it was yesterday, but it's not cold. It's 28 degrees here at First Choice Homes Park here with the NAB Development Championships.
Could almost put her in the sheds, Degs. We've seen enough from her today. She's been fantastic.
Yeah, just a little cramp where her calf muscle will eventually grow because she's very long levers at the moment. Umpire's not keen to wait for a cramp. I just need to. It might be her first cramp, and I remember so many players with their first cramp think the world is about to end. It is a painful thing to go through. Very, very young player, very hard to hold enough nutrition in the body in these conditions to get through a hard game of footy. And has she played well? Well, she's just exited the ground, and she can always come back on in this NAB Championship match. At the back right now, Rosie Anderson will toe poke to herself, turns inside, kicks dangerously across the goal, but she gets it wide enough to potentially relieve. Any work here from Papalia will result in a shot, you'd think. Pollard's good enough to stand up and take the heat. She kicks towards a teammate on the far side of the ground who's good enough then to pick that up. Looks like Macaulay. Kick off the ground was clever. Gold now 2v2 with Black. Stepping out the back was wonderful work from Teakle. I think it's sister of. Having a bounce now is Blizzard. She's put together some kind of game from my opinion. She's running through half back and she looks for a little connection up forward. Freeman can't get a hold of it. The defensive is good. That could be another good player in Norris taking that ball towards the centre of the ground. Aggressive kick. Rukuata. The other way, Anderson. Anderson, little connection's good, and Gold will get a chance to breathe and then build.
There's Dills there with a nice little hit off half back.
This is Teakle again, and Teakle's kicks a skyscraper. It's into a decent area. There's a lot of WA Black players standing back there. Rowley kicks it up and down, and it finds Pappas on the wing. Great positioning from a winger to be able to receive that ball. Her kick into the corridors, not exactly what the team was after. Gerbil is able to get into a different chain of handballs to get this to the far side. It's Freeman, named as the skipper for Gold, was able to connect with Blizzards, who might be having a little turn forward. If she is, she's proven she can do it at both ends. Her kick's okay. Fotu climbs a ladder and takes a catch. Too far out to score. The quick kicking is good, and it's found a player one-on-one. One and none initially, but wonderful work from Wally to run in and chop that off and spoil that out of bounds.
So much space there on the forward's right-hand side. Just need to kick it out to that space and let the forward do the rest.
So 39-37 as we see the siren sound. We hear the siren sound. Nice little play from Gold. It's a good forward construction. I just think the ball just sat in the air just a bit too long, and Wally was able to chop that up. But it gave Wally a good chance to show that she can play back as well.
Yeah, definitely, and also Alicia Blizzard there. She looks like a good hit up forward, someone that you can link with in between, and also showed a little bit down back in the first half.
Couple of goals scored in that quarter, one to Woollimer, and she takes her tally to 2. She's on the bench having a little calf rub after earning a cramp from hard work. Keeley got 1 for the Black team in that quarter. Of course, Anderson 2 in the first half. Cristodero 2 in the second quarter. Fotu 2 in the first. Feist with 1. And Stanners with 1 as well. So Black took a couple of steps towards Gold and actually took them over in the end. 6-3 the Black team to 6-1 Gold. The Black team, WA Black lead 39-37 as we head into the last quarter. And before we do that again, we'll go and take a quick break. You can have a break from my voice. We'll grab a drink of water and we'll hear from our sponsors. And again, the group that bring our female football games to life each week, Front Row Screens.
A little too late for, I'm sorry for.
You're tired. Here we are again. We're inside the Gold huddle. You can see some instructions there. Very calm. Quite difficult to be too animated when you're wearing a surgical mask. And just to reiterate, warm day here in Perth, WA, or at least from our new Choice Homes Park, the home of the Sharks for the NAB National Development 16s Championships. Seeing some pretty good footy from some players that are beginning to tire.
Yeah, there's certainly a beginning to tire, Clint, that's for sure. And I think what we'll see here is the girls with the higher fitness level and really the ability to drive your legs and get out into space. You don't need to give the quick handball up. Let's test the tackle and take them on. And if we can start to get the ball out into a bit of space, we might start to see the athleticism levels go up another level. Claudia Wright's going to change over to even up the sides. This last quarter, she's going to change over and be wearing number 15 in the black team. I think she was 13 in the gold team. But yeah, once again, for me, Clint, Olivia Wallace was fantastic, and we're just seeing a replay here of also
that's Keeley.
Zoe Keeley. She's been fantastic as a tall as well. And if you've got a couple of tall girls, especially at 180 centimetres, that can jump and get their hands on the ball in the ruck, but also go forward and do the same and kick some goals, to have that second string to your bow, it's a lot easier to get picked in a side, I suppose. And yeah, it's really impressed me, the agility.
Have been able to do a different job. So all the tools have had to turn in the back and the forward line, in particular in the forward line with Wollongong's and Keeley.
Yep.
And it's been impressive, as you said. You have to have a couple of different strings to your bow. But if you're tall at 15 years of age, 181 and 185, there's a chance you can go to 187, 88. Dream will be going to 191. But if you can play forward and be clean below your knees, you become very, very valuable commodity. I imagine that both West Coast and Fremantle will be having a good look at these players, particularly those 16-year-olds, and thinking how good they could be. You can see Alicia Jantz there, or you can see her legs now, just talking to her group, as she just demonstrates a couple of different positional changes. Works for the Wallace Foundation, played for Fremantle, West Coast Eagles, and of course played netball for WA. A bit of experience being shared over there in that huddle.
It's great to have her down involved with us 16s girls.
Lovely human being.
Yeah, like you said, just been through the high performance program at both Fremantle and West Coast, and to be able to come back and just share what she's learned and have someone of that character around the group is just fantastic for us.
Into the gold huddle, Rosie Anderson, number 24, had a day out. Sitting next to her too, player that's been pretty good too, Deisler. She's been terrific today. As we see hands in. They let her touch each other though, so it's an air hands in.
I remember we first saw Dills. I think it would have been down at Medora Bay.
Yes, it was.
On a late on a Tuesday night when we were heading down that way doing some clinics. And
we did a little talent search with her, and the thing we saw with her is her desire attack on the ball is as good as anyone's in footy, and she certainly does like to run and carry it. Strong body, strong of will too. See, Alicia Jantz currently being tackled by Mahalia Rukuata just off that gold pack.
Like I was saying, it's great having her around because that training, she gets involved, she joins in some of the drills sometimes and is really instructional, and
she's a very enthusiastic
helps
person.
The girls out. Yes, and that's what we're after, Diggers. We love enthusiastic people around the group.
We do. It's heaps better than the opposite. What I meant was she just gives such energy to people that she's around, always smiling, interested in learning as much as she can, as well as passing on her learning. You can see a couple of players on screen as we pan around the ground. It's Hadley. It's had a quarter and a half. Good footy, standing with Greenwood. Matthews and Rowley. Matthews has been good. Rowley's been busy as well. Both hard runners. It'd be nice to see them have a crack. We talked about it just before we came back from the very brief break, and it was pistols from 10 paces, please. That's what we like to see. Have a crack at each other. Just waiting for the ump to hold the ball aloft. Does that now. Of course, talent umpires as well on show here today. The big pre-season. Wonderful turn and burn from Fotu. Kicks a little high. Wally's tracking it nicely. Just gets the worst bounce he possibly could as a small mid. He's forced to run around in circles. This is Dyson now. Trying to bust through Norris. She gets the ball moving forward. Clever play. Pollard the other way. Tries to find a hole where there was no hole. Norris lost that one in the Blizzard tackles. Blizzard first recovers. Gets towards the top of 50. It's running her over in the end there. Meg McCauley, she's got the ball in hand again. There's a tendency to turn right. It's always tough to turn right when you're on the left half-back flank because it means your ball goes into the corridor. A little chiselled handball there from Girardi. Just managed to find a little space where there wasn't one. The black team works hard enough to get the ball towards their forward 50. Papalia good below the knees eventually. Long kick into Anderson's in the way. Kick wasn't to her, it was to Pappas. Anderson bounces the ball around. The handball loose to Matthews, who takes off at half-back with Riley putting her under pressure. Corley set herself for a jump, didn't quite go in the end. Fisher finds a hole on the right side. Handball doesn't quite connect as she intended. Going to get this ball back. This time she goes without it. Mine's in 5th gear, or Body's in 5th gear, Mine's in 4th. Pushing off nicely and trying to get herself a shot as Anderson for 3. Doesn't quite carry, and a good mark in the goal square for the opposition from Sexton. Sexton chooses to run this ball out. Nicely done, Dakota, but her ball is chopped off as it laces out an opponent. That could be Mia Pappas on the far side. Holding those wing structures very nicely. Floating in front of the pack, couldn't quite take the catch, I think, was Mendoza. Tried to find her right foot in the end. Good tackling. Anderson tries to find her right foot. In great position for a rover was Fisher, who kicks off line. Goes through for a minor score, 30. So Blacks are now 40 to play. Gold in 37. It's 1 point kicked by the Gold team so far. 6 goals, 1. It's a nice mark overhead from Anderson, who showed plenty today. We'll turn up the ground again. Little kick's a good one. Oh, just couldn't quite connect with Mendoza. Mendoza's going to look for that right boot again. She pulls it to the top of the square. There is numbers there. Pollard from Gold goes without it. This is Norris again. She's got 1. It's pulled off the football, but the kick out of the pack was a quick one. Unfortunately, it goes with her hips across to the right side. And it's a deep side point. Nice little piece of work from Feast. West Perth putting some decent kids together in their Rogers Cup program. Enjoying some screen time too, Feasty. Having a bounce as Dysler. She comes out of half-back. Kicks off the instep, unfortunately, towards Norris. Got enough on it that it skips past. He is trying to squirt out towards the Gold mids, but it's Fisher in the way. Her little handball brings Stanners into play. Kicks touched off the boot. Knocked on by Fotu. Still like to see Fotu with that in hands. Trying to go off the deck then was Freeman. All into the corridor. Running onto that's the ruckman in Crane. Shovels the ball forward. Bit of a confusion between 2 players there. One blocking, one trying to handball to the spread. Jabeel coming the other way, the Hills Rangers product. A good kick over the back. Running into open goal now if the ball will sit is Cruz. It won't sit for her. Can she work it? Rukoata just rips it out of her hands and takes off. She's under pressure now. Tries to don't argue. Gets a little bit of foot on this towards the centre of the corridor. But coming the other way is Fotu. And Fotu picks it up. She's got a couple. And she adds 1 more to it. So that's 3 for her. The South Runner product going the other way. And as soon as you felt she controlled that footy, she was going to find a hole and kick a snag.
Yeah, I called it before, the Wardlaw lookalike from the Brisbane Lions.
Yes.
She plays a bit like her. She's shown that she can take a grab and kick a goal from a contested mark, but also the ability to swoop on a ground ball and finish.
Yeah, she's long and lean as well, like Wardlaw, and celebrates just about as hard as her too. But it's a decent comparison as a young player being compared to Wardlaw, who plays full forward for Brisbane. That's an exciting prospect. Kind of player that Trent Cooper will be having his eye on. I'm sure the Eagles will cast their eye her way as well.
But you'd love to get Courtney Hodder back to the West too, wouldn't you?
At some stage, I think there'd be a little dossier at both football clubs saying, "Come home, Hodder." Into the ruck now again. That's Crane. Beating her for it's Anderson. Her handball's good. The runner's able to get that off. Coming up to meet the ball's Mendoza. Kicks the ball towards the top of the goal square. Keeley is forced to rove after the ball didn't connect, but Mendoza's come alive.
Where have you seen Mendoza play her best footy? She's been around a bit. She can run. She's powerful. She can jump at the ball like that.
For Mendoza, I can see her back and forward, and I'm just wondering if she's not a midfielder. I think she plays safely back. I think she plays creatively forward.
Yep.
But I just think she's really good with the ball. I wonder if she can't run through the midfield. It's always tempting as a coach when you've got someone with a bit of height that they have to play a key position, but I just think when they move like her, they can play anywhere. There's nothing wrong with these days, you know, with a 5'10" female mid, nice big strong midfielder.
I often wonder that with Ella Roberts. She can, I reckon she'd be very good on ball.
Yeah, so Roberts is an interesting one because she plays like a natural winger. So So she gets used at high half forward, and even when she plays forward, she still runs around like a midfielder inside forward 50. And when you release her behind the ball, she loves to run and carry. Maybe Mendoza cut from the same cloth as we see this ball sort of quite stationary, although as we say that, Blacks manufacture the ball back, give it to Pollard on the intercept. Pollard's kick was creative movement by body. There's no one there to receive that kick. Crashing through is Blizzard. Unfortunately has a bounce just while her finger's on her jumper, but like once again you see the coaching staff just clapping her and saying do it again. That's the kind of play we want. Didn't need to bounce it after quite so few steps. So arch the back and get those 10 in and have a bounce later on as we see the ball picked off again from this young player from Hills Rangers. I think called in late during the COVID protocols, but as she's played some kind of game now, the commentator's curse, he turns it over off her ankle. Running towards the goal now is right. She's changed teams. She's been good for both teams now. The ball long to Keeley, can't quite find it in the air. Newson now playing fullback after a 3 quarters in the ruck. Keeley sits on her, handball's inside, can't quite get the kick away because the defensive work from the WA Gold team was too strong. And wrapping her up was Sexton, who's had a good last half in the back 50. A teammate joined in that tackle fest as well. Newson with the ball down. Backs creating, that's Pappas. East Perth product, and she gets it off her toe. And out of bounds on the full from the look of it.
I think what we see is when the girls start to get tired, there's just lots of numbers around the ball when it's on the ground. There's always too many players around there. They tend to just, the old moth to the flame, they tend to just get drawn to the ball. This is where the smart players can read the situation and stay out in the space and be used on the spread.
This is right again, intercept mark and long ball and a little shove under the football. The kick will put a massive amount of pressure on the defenders. Keeley got a shove. These two faced off in the ruck, of course. Keeley and Newson, now they're playing full back and full forward. With the former playing full forward. She's having a little look around, but backs herself to have a kick and hits the post. Another lovely foot strike. Not a whole heap of leg swing, but good contact on the ball. Hits the closest post, so great pressure kick from right. Just caused the error from the defender, and you mentioned that earlier. Get that ball in long and deep and put the pressure on the backs. Geyser's juked one way and then the other way and then eventually this way. Fisher can't quite get her hands on it. She read it best. The handball's pretty good. Finds Feast. Feast gets it back towards a teammate who has a long shot on goal and just goes a little wide. That was nice by Layla Fotu. My apologies. Just tripped over my own words there. I didn't do my anchorman warm-up before the game. They're coming in the back. There we go. WA Gold. Pollard in hands now. She has a bounce. Impressive young player. Dad's about 6'6". There's a lot to like about that young lady, including how tall Dad is. This is Reach. Reach is quite a composed and thoughtful player. She thinks her way through that problem quite well before she pulls the ball towards Crane. Give her some credit for thinking she gave Crane the choice to take that out of bounds. Gold don't do anything about stopping this play though. They try the run and stun. Attempts to get in the pass of Liddington. Liddington just trails Gamble to the footy eventually. Bouncing towards Wright again. So Wright's having a 4th possession in the black jumper after having about 35 in a gold one. Handy swap over from the administrations to even up due to a couple of different concerns over workload for different players. It's great to see Wollongong's out there again too. So that right cramp locked up after an attempted hang. He'd have been onto the pickle juice and Gatorade and the banana. She's able to take this ruck jump, which she does quite well in the end. 3 or 4 times before Blizzard gets going her way. McCauley overruns it. Blizzard's back into the gun. Girardi can't quite find the handle, and Blizzard is happy to tie that up. Definitely rolling the dice at each other now, the two teams. Just need to hold some width here, Bar, and we'll see some really good ball, really good run and carry.
Certainly do. It's all pretty much straight up and down at the moment.
10 minutes, 30 seconds gone. Good handball out to Anderson. You can hear dulcet tones of Jenna Allum saying back yourself and run. Finds its way out to Greenwood.
That's a great handball, that.
And a wonderful play too. That's a nice little pick off intercept and run. The connection's good too. Finds itself The ball finds itself with Fotu. Fotu's long kick connects with Willem Runs. Has time to put that on the ground, then find a runner. Going past, flashing past his right again. This is possession 6 in a black jumper. After having such a good quarter, she's got a running shot on goal. It's a lovely kick to the goal square. How will it bounce? It goes straight through. That is fantastic play from a good young player that was forced to change teams at three-quarter time. And Claudia Wright from the Claremont Football Club can play football. Have a look again. Neat bounce, just checks her distance. 47.5 metres out from goal. And let's see the flex, young lady.
40, I reckon, mate.
No, you got to go 47. And there's no flex. It's just a little clap and a cuddle. Wonderful work from Wright. Good to change that over too. So it's 46. Was it 49 now to 40?
I think it was Beck Anderson.
At number 15? I reckon that was right. The number 15 jumper. Anderson wearing number 18. A bit to like about that young lady. Run and carry. Anderson in the ruck. Chopping that ball out is Jabil. Stepping inside is Wright. She's had 3 bounces inside the first 6 steps. So you can guarantee the coach said have a bounce. Going towards Reach. Reach tries to track the ball. Having other opinions and other ideas about what's going on is Patterson. He's used the ball well to space for Fisher. Fisher will look for a hole. In the end, handballs to Livingston. Sorry, to Warmerens. Warmerens tries to find a runner. She gets one. Info to. He's come alive in the last quarter. And this is Mendoza ahead of the ball. Take a breath, Athena. She does. Lowers her vision. Tries to connect with Keeley. Goes over her head. It's an open space at the back of the square. Desperate tackle on the last line. Sees this ball spill over for touch ball. And it's great to see a small forward like that take to the heel. I think that was Feast. And then the run down tackle from defence is also solid. Dyser again. Comes out. Swing of that right foot just pulls the angle open for the opposition. Everybody in the air. Nice to see everyone flying up. This is Anderson. Tries to push and shove. Good tackle from Freeman. Loose ball, Norris. Norris, Wormburner in. Finds a teammate. This again is Feast. Feast ball over the top. Pulls that ball around the corner. That's a wonderful play from the defensive area from Blake. I didn't actually see who kicked that ball in the end. Just trying to chase a couple of kicks away. But it looked like it was Papalia.
They were really set up well behind the ball, the black side there. Looking from our vantage point, if Gold won the ball, there was just no way out of there, and that's really well done. We speak about building the pressure, keep building the pressure on the opposition. You don't want them to be able to find that easy pressure release kick coming outside of your forward 50, and that was well done.
And that was good perimeter defence from Black, and you don't see that too often in underage football, but just the ability to mark the ball and put it back in. Feast kick was a good one, and eventually got it over to Paley, who was able to kick a neat little goal.
I think what we're starting to notice is these young girls are getting higher level coaching now before they get to us here at the State Academy, which is fantastic. They're coming in now with certain concepts they've heard before and terminology and all those sorts of things. Their education just keeps improving and improving.
Newson's back in the ruck. Gold team benefits from her giving them first use. Trying to push through there was Freeman. Taking a neat catch is Reach. She's able to connect forward, looking deep to the forwards. Off hands, unfortunately. Down there doing the tackling now. The front end. That is a good pressure act from Cruz. Cruz has been likely. It's a very dangerous forward. Fleet of foot. Taps okay. If that was a set play, it was wonderful. That was Teakle. Teakle tips it down into the hands of Freeman, and Freeman puts one through. Wonderful play.
Dinner plates.
Dinner plates. And I have to say, I did see that in the grand final a couple of years ago. There was a ruckman that fed Michael Voss a little snagger in a grand final. 2001 or 2002. You win that many grand finals, or you just don't know. But let's focus back.
Tony Teakle, that was well done. Obviously, she's just displayed that she has terrific vision there. She was able to assess and scan the situation, then put her eyes back on the ball to ruck it, and just great peripheral vision to be able to tap it down to her.
And Freeman didn't break stride. Took that in front of her eyes and put it on the boot. There was no time at all. That's brought this game closer again. One kick in it. 2.5 minutes to play. Black in control at the moment. Rukuata gets the ball to Wally. Going forward here are the black team. Gold scored against the flow of play effectively. Matthews tumble punt. will find a 3-on-1. What can you do here, Abby Reach? Abby Reach does well, tries to get her hands on it. In the end, strips the ball. She's won a 1-on-5 eventually. Tumble ball towards forward 50. This could draw the game up. Black team defending hard. Gold trying to release that ball in a corridor. Does it really well. Puts it into the path of Greenwood. Greenwood's kicks long and it's taken on the chest. And it's Tani Teakle.
She's had a good last quarter.
This is her home ground. East Fremantle Shark has a look to pass. Gets the shake of the head. It's all yours.
There's a minute and a half left.
So right behind this kick. And the Athletic Sox pulled up high and she just smashed it through the middle. It's all drawn up, 56 apiece with 30 seconds or so to play by the time we bounce the ball.
Fantastic.
Just stop the clock here. See if we can get one more minute.
That was a great kick by Lucy Greenwood. Just summed up what was ahead of her and kicked it to advantage. And that's all you need to do coming forward. Instead of just blazing away, just need to put it to advantage of your teammate and let them go to work.
I have to say, this is the first time I've seen such effective and efficient, confident goal kicking from an underage female program that I've ever seen. These players have just been cool hand Luke over the ball. So go back to the time clock. Got a minute to play. Need to score. Last two to gold. It's 56 apiece. 8 goals, 8, 56 to 9, 2, 56. How's the accuracy of WA Gold?
Big centre clearance here.
Smashing the ball down now. They've got a couple of good rucks in there. It's Newson. First use to gold. Going towards 50. Overrunning it there was Hadley. Pressure ball on the deck outside 50 metres. A little stoppage here will help the black team just avoid a bit of a disaster after controlling much of this game. Trying to exit again very well was Hadley. Hadley finds a runner in Masika. It's 20 seconds to play. Chest marked on the far side by Papalia. She plays on immediately. She's assessed the situation beautiful. She had 3 bounces as she crosses 50. The third one doesn't come back up. She's got to turn inside and the siren's gone 10 seconds early. Breaks your heart. That's to make up for the 10 seconds late in the third quarter. Wonderful display of talent football here in WA on a very, very warm day. We're saying that 28 over here is cold. It is compared to 45, but it's still warm. The players have done very well. What a fantastic display of attacking talent football, particularly after quarter time.
Yes, it certainly was. Look, certainly lots to look forward to moving forward. Yeah, both down back and up forward for me, Clint. I think there's always some good midfielders and forwards around, but I was really impressed with Rosie Anderson when she went down back today. She was fantastic. Tani Teakle done really well down back, and then we saw her go forward there towards the end and kick the goal to draw up the game. Karis Daddario was really good down back early. I thought her ability to get off a player and read the ball and give him some drive out of the half back line. Up forward, look, I think it was Wright had her own footy there for a while, which was great. Layla Fotu showed a bit up forward. Her sister Lyra early in the game, a couple of really good contested marks. The rucks were good. So there's 3 or 4 tall options there to choose from. I reckon those 3 or 4 girls will be competing with each other as time goes on. But that was, for me, it was pleasing to see.
Some goal highlights there. Anderson with the first one of the game off the deck. Nice little touch.
Little Brooklyn Gerbiel. I'm not really sure how to say her last name, but I'm pretty sure we'll find out quickly. The Hills Rangers Junior Footy Club prospect. She's just a little ball magnet. Every time I watch her play, she finds the footy. She's only going to get better. I think she's only 14 at the moment, so we can't even sort of contemplate seeing her up in the 18s or even the Rogers Cup at the moment. She might even be 13. So.
Well, Sienna Pollard was the same. She was 14 years of age last year, didn't qualify for Rogers Cup, played a couple of these matches, as did Karis Diodaro and a number of players that we just put a couple of games and training into. And what we're seeing is with that bit of extra time into the players, as you see a tearing mark from Fodu, which she was able to do a couple of times early in the game. So goal kickers today, obviously, it was a very high-scoring game in the end. Anderson had 2, Feast 1, Fotu had 2, Christadero with 2 in a quarter, Woolamarins finished with 2, Keeley 1, Papalia 1, Stanners 1. The spread of goal kick was very good too. Of course, a lot of pressure on the kids today. COVID close contact just threw everything into disarray this morning as people got text messages through last night and today that they were to stay at home. And of course, those phone calls take some time to get through to the State Academy here in WA. Players being elevated into the game on very, very short notice and going through their warm-ups and playing well. just the times we are currently living in. So what a crazy start. The girls handled that very well, and we're able to put on a really good display in what is in the end in WA, I guess, very good conditions for March, because it could easily be 50 degrees, and it was a very good game today. We'll have to do our 3-2-1 off air, Bo, I think, so we can say g'day to everybody that's listening in online or that goes back and has a listen. Thanks very much, Front Row Screens, the WA Footy Commission, Kate Hartwell and the team at the State Academy for giving us the opportunity to sit here and talk about football with each other. And to you, to Bo McDonald, thanks very much. As always, mate, super professional in the box, and great for sharing your information and your behind-the-scenes knowledge of footy and this particular group with us. Thanks, mate. To Front Row Screens, and of course NAB National Development Championship. I think we're back next week to broadcast another of game 2 of this championship. Thanks very much to the AFL, of course, who are continuing to grow this space. I'm looking forward to in upcoming years to having a bit of an exhibition nationally too for this group. But until then, each state's developing some fine young players within their ranks, and we saw a lot of them on display today. Thanks, Front Row Screens. Thanks for everybody here from New Choice Homes Park. Thanks for tuning in.